What up? You guys out there? All right, so Sleepy Joe Biden did his thing. 74 million people voted for him. Trump is trying to say that the 70 million people who voted for him, he's trying to say that that number is wrong. And he's trying to compare 74 to 70 and saying that Joe, Joe Biden didn't win by a lot of votes, but he won by over 4 million votes, or close to it. That's a lot of votes. I mean, that's a lot of votes, people. 4 million anything is a lot. All right, let's just let's just be for real and be for here. But yeah, so Sleepy Joe loses. I mean, it wins. Excuse me. And Donald Trump is trying to say that he won illegally. I was on Facebook saying that his supporters did exactly what Donald Trump told them to do, and that's one reason why they lost. You know, they didn't mail in their votes. They stood in line. Okay, fine. A vote is a vote is a vote. But you got one guy trying to say that he said that basically some people mailed in their vote and then came and waited in line. That's fraudulent, Mr. Trump. And your supporters were doing that. So there's that. I was also saying that no election has been fair. Every election that I've known of where I was able to vote, especially lately, has just been a disgrace. And they've been doing stuff illegal, something illegal, one way or another. You know, they told black people, this is when Bush was uh, junior, this is when he was running. They knew a lot of black people wouldn't vote for him, and they basically told Bush, or told the people down in the southern states, they said if you have an outstanding bill, then your vote doesn't count, and you can't vote. They were stopping people from voting uh, in these southern states where they knew that there'd be a lot of black people. And what happened? Bush lost the popular vote, but he won the electoral college, and so they gave it to him twice. As a matter of fact, in my eyes, Bush has never won an election. It's fraud. It's all fraudulent. So the elections haven't been fair for a long time. But yet now you want to cry about the elections in the process for electing the president being fair, just like Donald Trump. When have you been fair? You didn't play fair when it came to Hillary. You lost the popular vote. You didn't play fair. You lost the electoral votes this time and the popular votes. Like, even if you win the popular votes, you're not going to win the electoral votes. 304 to 214, that is a large number. You got beat. You didn't even reach the 270 that you were supposed to reach, Mr. President. You lost. So what are you going to do? Go to the people in the electoral college and the delegates and super delegates and say, hey, you guys, you cheated. How's that going to work? How's that going to work for you, Mr. President? It's not. You lost. What up? Yeah. It's GG, bro. Trump could be the last president. Know about that. I know that the Trump supporters, if they really want to cry, they should go to the electoral college and cry. They should go. That's what they should do. You want to cry? Go cry to the electoral college. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's just say that you get 75 million votes. Let's just say that that's what happens, Trump. You get 75 million votes. You still lost the electoral college by what? I don't know, whatever number it is, 20 votes. No, not 20. 100, yeah, 100, 100, 110. You lost the electoral college by 110 votes. Uh, what is it, 304 to 214, something like that? I don't know. 100 and something votes. What are you going to do then? You want to cry about it's rigged? Go to the electoral college and cry to the electoral college and see what happens. Sue You're trying to sue Nevada, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and all these other states and hoping that the numbers will turn over. It doesn't matter. According to the way you won, Mr. President, you lost the popular vote, but you won the electoral college vote. So what does that tell you? That tells you even if you win 75 to 74, as long as the electoral college votes stay the same, you still lost. Mr. President, you need to concede and cut out this nonsense and stop making America wait to move on. That's the problem. Make it so bad, Donald Trump. You're so goofy. You're such a goofball. If you really woke up and smelled the doggone coffee, you could run again in 4 years. But now that you put America through this whole debacle because you're a sore loser, who's going to vote for you? You're not going to get enough popular votes. Donald Trump hung himself. That's what he did. He could have been a great president. He had a lot of great ideas. Make America first. I was with that. But don't make white America first. America is not white. America is and always has been, ever since you guys invaded, has always been a melting pot of immigrants. America is a mixed bag of nuts. It's a bunch of different colors all come together to make a beautiful hue. And if you can't deal with that and you just want to keep everything or try to make everything white, then you don't need to be president whatsoever. You don't even need to come nowhere near the White House. And anyone who has that same frame of mind, get out. There is color in the White House now. There's black and Indian in the White House now. There was black in the White House. I'm sorry, it's not white America. You white people are losing your mind because of the same thing Ben Franklin talked about, how your numbers are dwindling. You're having less babies. You know why? You did it to yourselves. You fought wars on every continent there is. You went and invaded. Look, if you can make it to another planet and that planet is full of people, white people, you will go and invade that planet and start blowing stuff up. And you will find some ridiculous reason to invade them and kill everyone. Because that's what you do. You don't want peace, you want war. And I get it. You guys come from the Caucasus Mountains. You were made like that. But some of you need to wake up. You need to wake up. You can't always have war and then expect things to go your way. Not to mention, you keep going to war, you die. That's what happens in war. Your soldiers come home dead if they come home at all. Then people hate Americans. You keep letting the banking system send you off to war. That's what you keep doing. Go and fight these ridiculous wars. And you want to come home talking about patriotism. Patriotism is not going and blowing other people up for nothing. That's not what it is. At any rate, I want to talk to you guys because yesterday we got cut off. But nobody's on right now, so I'm going to go ahead and go. Well, I'm going to say a few more words because I know some people will, like Lady G, she'll come along in a couple days or so and listen to it because for some reason, this helps her day out, and that's cool with me. But so for no other reason, I'll speak because Lady G listens. Say your piece. Okay, I'm going to say my piece. Thank you. I didn't think anybody was here, but I'll say my piece. So as far as where do we go now? Here's Joe Biden's problems. Look, a lot of Some of what Joe Biden wants to do, I'm with. But Joe Biden is, for his first term, and listen, even if he goes 2 terms, it'll be better for Joe Biden in his second term. But here's a good, okay, here's some problems with Joe Biden. Joe Biden has walked into a maelstrom that was created by somebody else. Other things are Joe Biden has some history that's not exactly favorable. He's got some human element history that's not good. He's got some rumors and allegations that are around him. That's not good. There are some perceptions about Joe Biden that's not exactly good. All right? It's just not. However, Joe Biden has a lot going for him that is good. He seems to he seems to be almost like the everyday guy, Joe. That's a great name for a president. You know what I'm saying? He seems to be an everyday guy, but we know he's not. Okay, he's got a family, loves his family. He's had tragedy, lost a son. It's everyday stuff. He's been with his wife for the longest. He doesn't got, all these, had a bunch of wives and, babies by different mistresses. And I don't know if any prostitutes are going to pop up out of anywhere. I don't know the man's love life, but on the outside, he looks good. He looks like somebody who you want to represent you to the world. Of course, he's got some issues with, putting his hands on people he shouldn't. But still, he looks like somebody you want to represent you. Not to mention, Joe ain't no cream puff, okay? He's rough around the edges, all right? He's like, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I mean, Joe ain't got no problem speaking his mind. There's another good thing is he was tailored under Obama. Now, Obama ain't all peaches and cream to me either. But Obama was trying to get rid of the nuclear bombs and pretty much a war that can happen at any time. Everybody being on edge. Obama was like, hey, look, I'm not George Bush. Okay? Calm down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, George Bush, he angered a lot of people. But Obama went out and was just like, hey, we need to chill with all that. Let's try to, put away the nukes. And that's what he did. Now, Iran has gone to Biden already, and was like, let us get our nukes back. Like, let us do our nuclear thing. And I don't think that's going to happen. What's going on? I don't think that's going to happen simply because of the moniker that Iran is under, which is terrorist. Although we have terrorized everyone in the whole entire world, we as in America. But Iran is already making a play. See, to me, if you go ahead and do this, you're assuming that either Joe doesn't know who you are and what you guys stand for. You think that he is, unaware of your potential. Something. The thing about it is, we've already invaded Iran. We're there right now. White House made a play to go to Iran. Last year? Actually, earlier this year. And we sent our battleships. Boom, we're in there right now. So Joe is probably going to deny that, which means tensions down there in the Strait of Hormuz and all that other stuff over oil is going to stay high. I don't think Joe's going to back down from that. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to allow Iran to have nuclear weapons because of, I don't know. I don't think Ahmadinejad is still president. I don't know if he is. But I know that they have just knocked off one of their leaders. America has just killed one of their leaders. So they're not going to say, yeah, we're going to allow you to have uranium or whatever it is. I'm not a nuclear physicist. And whatever it is, we're not going to allow you to make or have or manufacture uranium in order for you to start making nuclear bombs. Now, here's my whole thing about that. You think that if they have a nuclear weapon that they're going to launch it at America? America has how many nuclear silos just around the country? Just around the country. I mean, how many nuclear submarines do we have? I think we have 8 nuclear submarines that are active. Methuselah class submarines. I think that's the proper name for them. I'm not sure. One of you guys can look it up. I don't mind being wrong. Um, but these are state of the art nuclear submarines that are stationed all around the world. All around the world. They're everywhere. And so anyone who decides to strike us or even act like they want to strike us, it's going to be a bad day for them. Now, another thing about Iran is, of course, in league with Russia. You know what I'm saying? This is one reason why I think invading Iran was a bad idea. Also with China, they're all under, Putin is watching all of them. I just think it was a bad idea to go into there. So tensions are high. Now, what I think Joe Biden is going to do or should do is get American troops out of Iran. That's what I think Joe's going to do. And if Joe asked me, I'd be like, get them boys out of there. Get them men and women out of there. Get them out of there quick, Joe. Because that is a powder keg that Donald Trump, before Donald Trump was elected, he was asking about nuclear weapons. He wanted to go to war. You know what he asked? He says, don't we have nuclear weapons? And they said, yes. He said, then why aren't we using them? Because nuclear fallout kills more people than the actual weapon, Mr. President, just in case you didn't know that. Not to mention, nuclear fallout isn't necessarily controlled. It's just like a volcano. When a volcano goes off, the ashes go everywhere. Well, the nuclear fallout, that goes any and everywhere. It actually goes anywhere, any way the wind blows. Now, I'm saying that because there's a movie called Anywhere or Any Way the Wind Blows, and it's about nuclear fallout. You guys should look at that movie. It's an animation, but it's very interesting on how people die of cancer long after the nuclear weapon has gone off. And this is one reason why you just don't use nuclear weapons. You just don't fire them off and think that, oh, you just blew up 22,000 people in a heat flash. No, you just killed a lot more people that's going to be killing and killing and killing for years to come. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Look, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the reason why they blew those people up wasn't because the emperor didn't want to concede. It's because they wanted to test their weapons on humans. That's it, and that's all. The people who love war wanted to test their weapons. They knew Pearl Harbor was going to happen, and they let Pearl Harbor happen because they wanted to test their bombs. Hell, we got a bomb right now that we call a planet cracker. It can literally crack the damn planet. I mean, who's interested in that? Do we have somewhere else to go? We're not going to all fit into a space station. You're not going to fit 8 billion people into a space station. It's just not going to happen. Like, whose idea is this to make a bomb that could crack the damn planet? I don't get it. Anyway, so I think Joe needs to get our boys out of there. We got some boys over there and some other places that Joe needs to go and call those troops home. Get them home. Quit trying to control the world. Stop trying to police the world. We're not the world's police. That's not who we are. You know what I'm saying? We're not the world's. We don't fix all the world's problems. Tell the Dutch to get the hell out of Africa. Get the English out of Africa. Give all these countries who the people who are indigenous, let them have their land back. Get all these crazy people out of there who are harvesting children and women. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're going to do some good, go over there to Africa where Gaddafi was. Go over there and police that area. And because right now they have African slaves. and they're burning them and doing all kind of stuff to them. And these people are trying to flee from their country, because there's no true leader or president over there. It's just a bunch of dead people. You know, people. There's no rights. I mean, the human rights is completely out the window. Go over there and police that. Go knock off some of those people and get it right over there, so those people can live right. Get out of South Africa. Tell the white people to leave South Africa. Get out of South Africa. Just forget it. Pull every white person out of South Africa. Because if you don't, they're all going to die. And that's it and that's all. You either get the people out of South Africa or you're going to watch them all die. How you doing? You're going to watch them all die. And it's going to be your fault. Well, it's not going to be your fault, but you guys already know what's happening in South Africa. There's just a lot going on. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go. I think you guys are, well, I don't have, it says zero. Nobody's watching. I mean, I could talk about this stuff forever, but I don't mind fielding questions. But there's just a lot going on that Joe's going to have to handle. And Joe's going to need a lot of help. Joe's going to need an awful lot of help. Because Donald Trump. Hey, what's going on, little Steve? Uh,
Girl.
you going to a party? Going to a party? No. Yeah. Because Donald Trump left the world in a bad place. And there's a lot of hate that's being spewed. And Joe's going to have to clean up that hate. He's going to have to start with this country. And, those people who were threatening civil war, that's a real thing. I went to the gun store. I went to several of them, right? I don't have no guns. But I keep wanting to get one. And I'm just like, should I get a gun or should I not? Because I started just go online, boom, buy an AR-15 for a couple grand and, keep it in the house just in case the crazies come out, right? In case civil war does break out. But if civil war breaks out, it's not going to be the bullets that kill you. It's most likely going to be starvation. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have people who are going to break down and I went over this before. They're going to harbor the food. They're going to harbor the water. They're going to find ways to stop trucks and stuff from coming in and out of your state or, in your area. And that's not hard to do. You have, 12 different militia? One of them is right up the street here in Michigan. I mean, it's just not hard to do. And I am not I don't have a whole military presence with me. I don't have a bunch of guys running around with AR-15s and, Gatling guns and all this stuff. So that's what'll get you. It's the starvation. And we've already seen when the pandemic started, we've already seen how the shelves got emptied real quick. I mean, toilet paper wasn't half the worry. When you stop seeing meat, you stop seeing certain other things that just did not show up on the shelf anymore. It was like, yo, this is very, very, very real. The same thing will happen if a civil war breaks out. There are people who are already harboring. I mean, listen, I flip refrigerators. I buy and sell them and I fix them, right? Most of the time, when I sold a refrigerator, it was to people who wanted an extra fridge. They didn't need it, they wanted it. Well, excuse me, they didn't need it until now, until the pandemic. They wanted it out of fear. You see what I'm saying? So they were buying things that they usually don't buy simply out of fear of running out of food, right? Right? So they had their emergency food. They wanted to, and the thing about it is, They were buying these big French door refrigerators from me. You know, they could buy a little refrigerator. I could still pack a lot of food. No, they were buying these big two doors. And I was just like, why are people buying these refrigerators so much? And when I would take them to their house, they'd be like, just put it in the garage. And they would take and pack that refrigerator with a bunch of food. They were doing it out of fear. It's not, I'm telling you, the bullets is not what's going to kill you. It's the starvation. It's the cutting off of medical supplies. It's the stupidity. That'll kill you first. I mean, 3, 4 days without food, and you're going to start thinking a whole lot differently. Let a week go by, and you're going to go into desperate mode. You're going to be hunting any and everything that you can find. And that's just the way it is. You're going to be robbing your neighbors. So, no, we don't want no civil war. And Joe's got a big ordeal on his hands because 70 million people didn't vote for him. 70 million. Now, if you just take 10% of that, and trust me, you better believe there's probably a large percent of those people. These are 70 million adults. You better believe a large number of those people are weaponized. And just think about that. These are the people who are crying foul. These are the people who are saying, yo, the election was rigged. These are the people who are crying because of their president is no longer the president. They're crying. These are the people who are saying, hey, we're going to go and cause mayhem and violence. And they're doing it on social media, knowing the police has seen them. There are people getting arrested for making threats if the president is no longer the president. Well, guess what? He's no longer the president. There are people who are making threats to go out and cause serious harm to other people just because they voted differently. Like, this is very real. Now, will it happen? I don't know. But I think some people are angry and stupid enough to actually do some of what they're saying. I don't take none of that lightly. I don't look at that and go, nah, this goofy guy ain't gonna do it. I'm like, nah, this incel will do it. This incel is pissed. And he was hanging on to, just something. And that last vote just pissed him off. Nah, he'll do it. He'll go out and wipe as many people out as he can. And then go sit in the jail cell for the rest of his life with a smile on his face. We've seen it over and over and over and over again. So yeah, do I think he'll do it? Absolutely. And this is why the police are, arresting these people because they're taking it very seriously. And nobody's safe. Just because you're a cop, you're not safe from these crazies. No one is safe. Look at what they did to that judge. Look what they did to that judge, that female judge, right? Went to her house in the evening, dressed like a FedEx person, knocked on the door, boom, killed her husband immediately, boom, killed her son. Gone, just like that. And she was a federal judge, just like that, off the map. They didn't even want her. They just wanted to make a point, and that's what they did. Her son and husband, gone. The husband, I think the son died immediately, and the husband died in the hospital, or vice versa, one or the other. But these people are serious. Now, Joe wants to open up the borders. Joe's talking about opening up the borders again. I think Joe's going to get people out of cages, too. Now, that's going to work in his favor. I say the same thing. You got people locked in cages, man. They came here just the same way that the majority of people who lived here did. They're immigrants. They're fleeing from war. Get those children out of cages, you idiot. Like, get out of here. If you come into the country illegally, it's a crime, okay? 100%. But there is a moral to the law. There's two sides of the law. There's two sides of the law. There's the moral issue of the law, and and there is the criminal issue of the law, and there's the ethical issue of the law. This is why ethics is such a big thing in law school. I used to date a lawyer. Used to date a couple of them. But ethics is a big thing. You can go. Okay, so remember when the housing back in 2000, when the housing went awry, all these people were buying subprime loans and all this other stuff. I had a friend at that time, and this dude was doing that. He was into that. He made a lot of money. He made six figures, had a beautiful house, brand new Ford Expedition. He had money, friends, everything. He would invite people over, have these huge parties, spend $200 on his girl at a dinners, just blowing money. You know what? He ended up living with me for a short time because he lost his house, he lost his car, and he lost his girl. Now, he said the federal government came after him and they came after all the people who was in his crew, and some of them went to jail. And they said they went to jail because they were giving loans to people that they knew could not handle the loans once the loan climbed. Uh, uh, so your payments could be $700, and you're just like, boom, I'll take the loan. Right now, my payment's $700 a month. I can handle that. Well, they didn't tell you at one point that payment is going to double. And when that payment doubled and went to 15, $100, a month, those people could not handle it and they lost their homes. You duped them. You knew that was going to happen. And because you knew it was going to happen, those people went to jail for ethics. They went to jail for that. So you got to understand when it comes to the people who are in these cages, and you got these children in cages and dying and stuff like that because they came from another country, you can't just say this is what the law says and then that's cut and dry. Nobody does that. Nobody, no court does that. No, they always have to look at the ethical view of the whole issue as well. You came to this country because you were fleeing from drug lords. You were fleeing from people who were actually hanging people on lampposts. Yeah, this is what's happening in Mexico and Honduras and those places. Shoot, my neighbor's a Honduran. That's his wife right there. I mean, these people, they were fleeing from a terrible situation. You can't send them back to that situation because ethically it's wrong. So what do? What you can do is issue them temporary green cards. Now, I had a neighbor, he was from, I want to say Nigeria, but I don't think it was Nigeria. Anyways, he was African and knew him for years. He lived right there. And one day he came to me and he was basically, well, his wife uh, basically came to me and she said, they took my husband this morning. And I was like, what happened? She said, they went to his job and they took him and they put him in jail in Cincinnati. And I was like, why? She said, because his green card ran out. Now, her green card didn't run out, and they weren't exactly legally married. What he so what he needed to do was be legally married to somebody in the states in order to stay here. And of course, there's a whole system that does that. There's Africans who will find well, anyone, any woman out there, especially and they'll pay them thousands of dollars and say, "Hey, on this date, I need you to marry me because a few months later, my visa runs out, and then they'll be coming for me." So the person who is, the woman, uh, will say, okay, fine, it's going to cost you $5,000 for me to marry you. And they're like, bet. So what they do is they save up for years, this money for years, and then they come out with 5 grand, boom, make the whole transaction, get married. Even though they're not really husband and wife, they get a couple people to falsify and say, hey, I knew these people, they're a happy couple, which is a damn lie. And then boom, they're married and they stay in the States. There's a whole racket out there that does that. Now, his visa ran out. When his visa ran out, they came to his job, picked him up, boom, put him in Cincinnati. I'm like, why did they send him to Cincinnati? And she said, because they don't want me to be close to him. Like they don't want the wife to just go right downtown and see him. So they want it to be a stressful situation. So your two kids are here, your woman is here. What are you going to do? And they gave him two choices. They said, listen, you can be in jail until we figure this whole thing out, which is about 3 years, or you and your wife and two kids can go ahead and leave now. Now, the thing about it is, his two kids were born here. So they are African American. But they wouldn't say African American. They would say whatever the country was and say American. So they would say, or they would just say American. But most likely they would say Nigerian American, even though they're born here. But now they live in, and we'll just say Nigeria, even though I don't think it's Nigeria. So, so ethically, in that situation, what happened is ethics kicked in. Ethically, the INS or ICE or whoever they are told him, they said, listen, we'll give you two choices. They didn't have to give him two choices. They could have kept him there and let the wife figure out what's going on. But there's always ethics involved in the law. So ethically, they said, we're going to give you and your wife a chance to be together right now, but you have to take this deal. And they took the deal, and him and the wife and kids are gone. Now they can come back after they renew their green card. Their green card was an education green card, by the way. So as far as a bunch of these people pouring in from Honduras, and these are not the bad people who are coming in with all these criminal. Not to mention, there's a bunch of people in America who got criminal history. So don't be like, oh, they're sending all the bad people. How do you know that? Did you vet all of these people? The kids are bad too. Little kids in the third grade. He's bad. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's just ridiculous. They're all bad. They're all bad. Get out of here. They're not. They're not all bad people. They're sending us. They're rapists and they're murder. And how do you know that? You don't know these people. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of bad that's going on right here, and you should be worried about it. People are people. I'm sure everybody in that bunch is not the cream of the crop, but I don't think everyone, a large number of them are just coming over here to rape and pillage America. These kids 5 years old. What's he gonna do? He's five. What's he gonna do? Steal your apples or something? Come on. Anyway, so there's an ethical view in that, and what should have happened is there should have been a camp set up for them that was not cages, and that's just the worst. This is one thing that really hurt Donald Trump. You want to build your wall and you want to protect America and put America first. For one, there was already a wall built. Here's the thing: is Joe Biden going to continue to build that wall? And I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to waste federal dollars in order to build that doggone wall. And I, for one, wouldn't do it. For two, there's already a wall there. Somebody else had that bright idea of building that wall, and it did no good. It actually cut some of the Americans off, when they built that wall. The wall is not your answer. People from Mexico are going to get into the country. They come in by water. They cross right over the border any kind of way they can. Mexico is a hard place to live. And they tell people, look, don't go into Mexico. Don't go in there because you might not come out, Plata or Plomo. It's not the ideal place to go, you know what I'm saying? And I got family who live down there in Texas, and my brother, I'd be like, man, you better chill, chill out. So even America was warned not to go into Mexico. There's just a lot going on there, and until it gets better, you should stay out of there. And that's just that. Stay out of there. So Joe Biden is, I think whatever that's already up, I think he's just going to have, as far as the wall, he's going to have to deal with it. But I don't think that Joe Biden should continue that wall. It's a waste. However, I do think all of the borders should be protected. But that wall is not going to do it. I mean, even Donald Trump said you can just throw a rope over the wall, or you can dig up under it, which is what they're already doing. They can get around that wall. Even the Great Wall of China wasn't the most It wasn't the best idea. It was a good idea, but it didn't stop them from being invaded. It just didn't. They still got invaded. And we're still being invaded. So you're going to have to find another way to watch those borders. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have your hands full. There's going to be a lot of money that's going to have to go in there. Obama made the mistake of trying to find out who the cartel leaders were, and he used the Fast and Furious to do it, which was he had a bunch of AK-47s. And the AK-47s, like any weapon, has serial numbers on it. So they marked down all the serial numbers that were on the AK-47s, and they chose the AK-47 simply because the cartel likes to use AK-47s. And they went and sent those weapons into areas where the drug lords where the cartel would use them. And what they tried to do was track the cartels by tracking the AK-47, tracking the numbers. Well, the problem was your border police get into it with one of these, and one of them got shot and killed. And guess what they got shot and killed with? An AK-47 that Obama issued. Eric Holder got fired for that. That's why Eric Holder left the White House, is because of Fast and Furious. When that border cop died, they tracked the bullet down and saw where the bullet came from. Boom, Eric Holder, you're fired. That's what happened in the Fast and Furious. Look it up. But so I think Sleepy Joe has got a lot of work to do, and I don't think he's gonna do it. Uh, Look, you could be the president for 20 years and be in the right frame of mind and want to do right, and it's still not gonna all get cleaned up, because America still gets oil from Mexico. We get oil from the cartel. Uh, we still take a lot of our resources. We just take it. 56 billion spent on weapons. We have the largest navy in the world. We don't have the largest army though. And we don't have the most well-trained army. We just have the most technology. And the reason why we have the most technology and we have this advanced technology is not because white people are the creme de la creme of, the populace of the planet. That's not what happened. What happened is America told all the smart people, all the Africans and the people from India and all the mathematicians who come in and out of here, and, they get these visas. You need a visa to come here to America and stay, whether it's an education visa, work visa, one or the other, and or you need to be married. You have to be able to stay in America one way or another. Well, when they come on these education visas, America can actually cut your visa off and send you back. So you have the greatest minds and the most advanced minds coming over here and putting them in think tanks and figuring out all these numbers, and then we have all this advanced technology, and then the white people take the credit for it. Yeah, it's the white man who did this. It's nowhere near the truth. It's nowhere near the truth. It's a collective of colors of people who actually help advance America. I mean, this is why it just bothers me when I hear a white person say, yeah, praise the white man because this is all because of white people. It is nowhere near the truth. Nowhere near the truth. It is a collage of people who actually helped advance America, and that is the truth. And actually, and when you start really thinking about it, we've lost the race on some things. I mean, come on, Russia is kicking our ass when it came to the space race. So let's not be too proud. We lost two. Whatchamacallits, one trying to go out, space shuttle, one leaving and one coming in, and the other one was just a practice one, and it burned up our astronauts. So let's not be too proud of that, because Russia has been kicking our behind on that. So Joe has just got a lot of work to do, even if his mind is in the right place. Do I think that he's going to be the most exceptional president that there is? No, but I think he's going to be I think Joe's going to listen a lot. I think he's a fighter. I think Joe will punch somebody in the face in a heartbeat. I have no doubt in my mind about that, because I've seen him get into some people's face, and I'm just like, okay, all right. So I don't think he's going to take mess from other countries. I think that some of the things that Donald Trump was going to do, Joe is going to adopt, and it makes sense to do that. Donald Trump had great ideas. He had great ideas. He's just poor when it comes to the execution because he alienated himself from any and everybody who could help him. You took us out of the World Health Organization. You took us out of the what is it? It's like Brexit. What is it? It's the the damn it, when all the nations come together. He took us out of that. It's just like, why would you do that? Like, we need as many allies as we can get. America cannot stand alone and handle wars on all of these fronts. We can't do it. You cannot do it. When America goes to war, so does England, France, Australia, and a bunch of other countries, Japan. They're all our allies. You can't alienate yourself from those people because we'll get swallowed up, invaded, and taken over in a heartbeat. And that's happened before. So let's not, well, I'm not talking about here, but I'm talking, well, it almost happened here, but I'm talking about in other countries. They thought that they could do it alone and they got, invaded and boom, it was over. Next thing you know, other countries, pretty much were putting their flag on their land like this is ours, and then they had to call on some help and then it was over. Like France. France was invaded by England. And they went in there, and the king of England, the young king of England, was just like, boom, it's ours. Until he figured out that he was there for the wrong reason. So you just can't, say, hey, we're just going to be a standalone complex. It's just not going to work, not whatsoever. You're going to get dealt with. You're going to push the button and everything is going to fall down. And nuclear is not the answer. Diplomacy is the answer. And I think Joe is going to be, well, we already know he's a better diplomat uh, because Joe, Joe was, here's a good thing about Joe. Joe was in the office. He knows his way around the office. It's not a big deal. He's not going to be, you know, look at the office like, wow, I've never been here before. He already knows protocol because of Obama. And Obama, a great orator, has, and Obama's diplomacy was his greatest weapon. Obama knew how to quell an argument. Even when the media was trying to get at him, when he was having one-on-ones, Obama, when he would make his point, he would reach out and touch a person's leg like, like, wait a minute. I mean, the man teaches law at, one of the number one schools in America, in the world. So you're not going to get one over on Obama just so easily when it comes to the facts. Well, Joe came right up under that. Now, he doesn't have Obama swagger, but you best believe in 8 years, he picked up some pointers from Obama like, yo, I know I can't go in guns blazing. I know I can't piss off the NRA and just say, you know what, we're taking all your weapons. You're not going to do that without bloodshed. You can forget that. So what does Joe have to do? He has to use diplomacy. Because if he goes and says, hey, we're going to take all the AR-15s, all the semi-automatic rifles, we're taking all of those. Joe can't do that. He can't do that without a bunch of dead Army, National Guard, and reservists. He can't. It's not going to happen. It's just not. A bunch of police officers, a bunch of state police officers dead because some people will not give up those weapons. Joe is not going to do that. So what's he have to use? Diplomacy. He has to. As far as North Korea is concerned, Joe's going to have to use extra diplomacy. And I think, and look, Obama wanted to talk to Kim Jong-un, right? He wanted to talk to Un, or is it his father first, right? Kim Jong-il. He wanted to talk to his father. And Fox News, Cup of Joe, and his, cheating self with that goofy chick he's now married to, they were calling him, now you want to associate with terrorists. It's just like, wait a minute. Obama was trying not to start a nuclear war. And you know that North Korea is a small country with big ideas, and they've been trying to fire rockets for the longest time. They don't care about the Geneva Code. They don't care about the Geneva Code. Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, and the rest of them, they don't, listen, they feed their relatives to dogs when they get mad at them. That's what he did to one of his uncles. Kim Jong Un, he got mad at one of his uncles and and fed his whole cabinets to dogs. They don't care about the Geneva Code. They don't do that. So, when it comes to talking to them, I mean, you got to send somebody over there like Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman went over there and had a great time. But you know what you can't do? You can't go over there and mess with those people. Remember the white kid that went over there and he took a flag? There was a flag in the hallway, and he took the flag. It was outside somewhere, and it was propaganda. And he took the flag because he thought he was in the States, where you can just vandalize people property, and it's cute and it's funny, and you're on social media, ha ha ha. Well, guess what? You're not in America anymore, Dorothy. He took that flag, and you know what happened? He died. They put him in a concentration camp, and he died. Dead. That white kid is dead. They do not care about us. They don't. And when you talk to them, you got to be careful of what the hell you say. And I think that Joe, in his learned skill of diplomacy, he's gonna have to learn how to. I mean, I think he already knows how to, but I think he's going to have the right representatives talk to those people. And he needs to, because they're not going to stop. They're building up an army. They're not going to stop building up their army. And you don't want to go toe to toe with them. Yeah, we can blow them off the face of the earth, but that's not going to help us. What you need is diplomacy, the art of diplomacy, the skill and the blessing of diplomacy. Conversation first. And when all else fails, okay, now you're going to feel the mighty hand of a unified nations. It's not just going to be one. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to be standing alone by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? If we have to go up against anyone. So that's what I think Joe should do. I think that Joe should talk to the people in North Korea, because Kim Jong Un he's still that dude. He's highly dangerous, and he doesn't hate all Americans. This is another misnomer. He doesn't hate all Americans. He ain't got nothing against black people. Nothing. He just hates the rules. They hate being told what to do. They're like, no, we're not going to let you dictate what we do. You're not going to police us way over there in the West. It's like, we're not doing that. We're going to do what we want to do. And if you want, beef with us, come get it. And you'll see his army goose step all over American soil. It will happen. And, of course, they'll lose, but it's just pointless death. It's just pointless. And it's just no need for it. Let's see if you guys said anything. Nobody said anything. You just listened. Okay, that's cool. But Kamala Harris, I don't know a lot about her. Let me tell you something. Kamala Harris is in a very delicate position. Yes, she's first black, first Indian, first biracial. She has a Jewish husband, and there's no mistake there. I mean, you have a Jewish husband. That helped you get to where you're at, because we know the banking clans are ran by the Jews. Okay, fine. You know, but the black people are really watching her. And she got a lot of votes because of African Americans, and she got a lot of votes because, Indian people. She got a lot of votes because she's a woman. All kudos to her. But she was already making some mistakes that black people had noticed, as far as putting black men in prison. I don't think Kamala Harris is for black people. Some of her statements have, rang true. I mean, I don't think she's thinking about black people. I don't think that's what she's doing. I think she's looking at pretty much policy and just going, what policy benefits all people? What policy hurts all people? I don't think she's for black people. I think she just glazed right over that. This is not a 100%. See, when any tinge of color comes anywhere near the White House, we want to scream victory for whatever that color is. Kamala Harris is not. I don't look at her and go, you know, the Underground Railroad has, yeah, we made it, because, I don't look at her and go, we sat on the back of the bus, then we sat on the front of the bus, and then Kamala Harris. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. Now let her be some deep chocolate sister who's just a very smart, very savvy, doesn't have to be from the hood, but Michelle Obama was from the hood. 100% African American, African descent, black husband, just black, just 100% black. Roll up in there. It's different. It's different to me because we know you. We grew up with you. You know what I'm saying? We played ball with your brothers. Our sisters played hopscotch with your sisters. Our moms sat around and talked about our dads. We know you. You're familiar. We recognize you. You are one and always have been one of us. Can't really say that about Kamala Harris. Not taking nothing from her. But I don't think there's a bunch of black people going, yeah, a bunch of us married, Jewish guys or Jewish women, and we're mixed with Indian, and all. Indian people and black people don't really live amongst each other. Indian people usually live in the suburbs away from black people. We don't have, listen, I don't mind Indian people. They don't mind me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know any Indian people that live in this neighborhood. And there used to be some. They moved out of here quick. Heck, one used to live right there. He stayed there for 30 days and left. One of the reasons, he saw me standing right there on the corner. They got the hell out of here. So, I can't really look at Kamala Harris and go, good afternoon, my octoroon. I just can't. I just can't. I don't think she, just to me, I don't know her family, I don't know her roots. And you don't have to be dark skinned for, this to ring true. But her blackness is in question. And that probably doesn't matter to her. 40 million Americans are black. That probably doesn't matter to her, up until now. But it probably doesn't really matter to her as much. She could swing if she wants to. She can, identify more with the Jewish community if she wants to. She can identify more with the Indian community if she wants to. The Indian community doesn't identify with black people. They work in our hoods. They don't live here. They don't want to live here. You gotta understand there's a dynamic that's at work there when it comes to how we identify who is for us and who isn't. I'm not saying she isn't for us, but she's done some stuff, like prison reform that wasn't for us. It's hurting us. We all thought Bill Clinton was the first black president. Bill Clinton and Hillary were writing bills to keep us in jail longer. Special interests, the prisons, the banks, rounding up black people. Police rounding us up for no reason, putting us in jail just to get us registered and put us in there and then take our stuff, take our houses, take our women, take our children. They're still doing that. Just round you up for no reason. Take your vehicle. Take your driver's license away from you. Now you can't go to work. Can't go to work, you lose your job. Lose your job, and nobody wants to hire you again. Now you're living on the welfare system. Next thing you know, the dad's not in the house no more. The mom, the mom just got the kids by themselves because, and then they separate in Planned Parenthood, Hillary Clinton. Then you separating the dad from the children. That's all strategic, Jim Crow stuff. The Clintons were doing this. So let's not be unaware of what these politicians can do to the community and what they have done. They can be very dangerous to your livelihood. I don't know too much about any of these people, but they have an opportunity to do a lot of good. Will they? I don't know. They're politicians. They'll never know me. They don't care to know me. They're not going to listen to me or you. They have an agenda that is well above our heads. And that's what they're going to do. It's your boy Tone 202. Peace.